Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as Facebook and YouTube, so if you are joining us from either of those places, please feel free to give us a comment or a question. Hopefully I'll be able to go through everything as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. So let's get started here with a look at our headlines. What are we keeping track of the next couple of days? Well, at least for the rest of tonight, we'll stay mostly clear. It'll be a bit chilly out there, and that'll lead us into a sunny start for our Sunday with clouds rolling back in tomorrow afternoon. And then high pressure slides off to our east for next week, and that'll bring up winds from the south. That'll warm us up above average, and it looks like we've got the chances for some rain and even some thunderstorms for the end of next week, Thursday and into Friday. But let's start off with a look at our setup across the U.S. It's actually fairly quiet. We've got some lake effect snow cranking across the Great Lakes region, pushing in upstate New York, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Ohio. We've got this stationary front that has brought some showers and storms to places like the Panhandle in Florida. But for a good chunk of the country, especially the central portion, we have this area of high pressure in place, and that is kind of blocking any inclement weather from moving into the tri-state. So we stayed dry today. We started off with some of the clouds out there, but we actually saw that sunshine peak out through the afternoon, and we got a little bit of sunshine before it's set for the day, and our temperatures warmed all the way up into the lower 40s thanks to some of that sun. 41 degrees here in Evansville, a bit cooler to the north, 34 in Indianapolis, and just shy of 50 degrees down towards Bowling Green. Now that the sun is set, we've cooled down a good bit. We've cooled down mostly below freezing across the tri-state, sitting at 30 here in Evansville, 29 in Mount Vernon, Henderson, and Owensboro. The cold spots on the map, though, showing 27 there in Mount Carmel, Oakland City, and out towards Dundee. So a very chilly evening ahead of us here. We'll continue to drop down into the mid-20s overnight tonight. And again, we'll stay mostly clear. That'll lead us to a sunny start for our Sunday, but then clouds will start to filter in by Sunday afternoon. Temperatures will still top out in the lower 40s, which is right around average for this time of year. But looking ahead to tomorrow, again, seeing a mix of some sun and clouds early in the morning, but then seeing those clouds thicken up through the afternoon, and then that'll start to clear back out overnight Sunday and into Monday morning. But we'll have high pressure slip off to our east for the start of next week. We'll have winds come up out of the south, and we'll start to see a warm up happen here through the next 6 to 10 days. So looking at our temperature trend, we'll be right on par for average for tomorrow, and then we'll be right up above average by Monday, topping out in the mid 50s, and then we'll continue to climb into the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees through the middle and end of next week. And our next best chance of rainfall or even some thunderstorms doesn't look to move in until Thursday and into Friday as well. So I'll break down all those details, but outside of that chance for rain Thursday and Friday, we stay pretty dry, so we end up with around average amounts of precipitation here through the 13th of January. But let's take a look at the longer range European model. Our setup here shows a low area of low pressure, passing to our north there on Tuesday. We may squeak out a sprinkle from it, but I think most of us stay dry up until we have this warm front lift northward through the day on Thursday. That'll spread in the chance for some scattered showers, and even a few rumbles of thunder can't be ruled out there, especially as that low pressure system slides in from southwest to northeast. And then we'll have the cold front slide through during the morning on Friday, and that'll clear out of here through Friday afternoon. And then we'll be left with a cooler, drier weekend outlook for next weekend. But looking at rainfall amounts, we could get a good dose of rain from it. We could see up to an inch of rainfall as the storm system moves through the tri-state. Now, it's a little bit too early to kind of pin down any sort of severe weather threat, but I can't completely rule it out there. Certainly a risk maybe for some isolated a severe storm or maybe some severe wind gusts, but at this point in time, that's about all I can really nail down for you. Not expecting widespread severe weather next week, but if anything changes, of course, we'll let you know, and you'll see a red alert day pop up there. But as of right now, after that storm system clears out of here, we'll be cooling down, dropping down into the 50s for our highs and drying out by next weekend. But In addition to that, I do want to show you just a little bit of positivity here. I know now that we're in the month of January, we're kind of all hitting the winter blues and all that stuff. We're in the kind of the thick of it now, and I do want to bring some positivity here, show you kind of the daylight change as we go through the month of January across the U.S. The very, very far northern tier, we're talking about the northernmost states, they could see about an hour of daylight increase through the month of January. Here in the tri-state, we see right around 40 minutes of increased daylight through the month of January. And of course, the farther south you go, the less increase you see because they're already more directly under that sun. The farther north you go, the less indirect sunlight you get in the winter, so the greater the change in daylight you get as we finally go through the actual winter season. But February seems to be a very good month for us as well in terms of our daylight increase. We gain around an hour here in the tri-state, but some folks in the northern tier of the U.S. gain around an hour and 20 minutes through the month of February, and then it gets even better in March, mostly because we see that change from standard time to daylight savings time. We gain about an hour and 10 minutes of daylight there in the month of March, and over 100 minutes in the northern tier of the U.S. So brighter days ahead of us, and of course, as we go farther and farther into the spring, the amount of daylight we see decreases, but that doesn't mean our days are getting shorter. They only start to get shorter when we actually reach our summer solstice, and that is in the month of July. So we actually start to lose around a half hour of daylight in the month of July, about an hour in the month of August, and then as you head into the month of September, around 60 to 70 minutes of daylight decrease, and not much change there as you go through the month of October. But just wanted to show you kind of the brighter side of things as we go through the month of January. And speaking of sunset tracking here, today the sun set at around 4:43, and then by the end of the month, we're already going to be seeing that sun setting within the 5 o'clock hour. So just staying positive here as we get through some of the darker days of winter. But that is kind of all I've got here for the forecast and the weather show for you. So let me go ahead and take that full screen. Let me search through some of your comments. Good evening, Emma. Good evening to you, Linny. Looks like Wayne is tuning in from Horse Branch. Suzanne says she's glad it'll be warmer next week. Me too. All right. Williams says the GFS showing some wraparound snow next Sunday. Interesting to watch how the computer data is forming the storm and how much change there's been in just the last couple of days. Yeah, that's why I always tell you guys, especially if you see anything on social media of something coming far, far in advance, and especially if it's about a week or even more than a week away, the models kind of spit out a whole lot of possibilities that far out in the range. So looking at each individual run, you're going to see a lot of changes between each individual run for several days up until we're in that 3 to 5 day range. That's when models start to lock in on at least a more common solution. But yeah, good pointing that out, William, just kind of how everything changes in just the last couple of days. But as of right now, not expecting anything major moving through next weekend. Obviously, if we see something, we will let you know. Big Sergeant says good evening from Owensboro, and good evening from Laura Gray. She's watching from Dawson Springs. But that is all I'm really seeing here in the comments section. So I'm going to hop off the live stream. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe and have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.